Hello, fellow warrior. Wait, you don't think you're a warrior? Well, if you've lost that feeling, you've forgotten what that is, or you've never known what it is, this particular information I'm giving to you today has to do with reclaiming that warrior side, that determined warrior mindset in the Scorpio part of your chart. I will talk briefly about the Sun-Mars conjunction in Scorpio that's happening here on November 17th, 9:41 Pacific, which is November 18th there for those in other time zones. And then I will go quickly, as quick and focused and determined as possible through each rising sign. So, what is a Mars-Sun conjunction? Let's take a look at it. Here's the chart I have for 9:41 Pacific, 12:41 a.m. Eastern, let's say, and I will annotate this for you just to keep it clear. You could see Mars at 25 degrees, the Sun at 25 degrees Scorpio. This is an ending of a Mars cycle, this Mars conjunction, and the beginning of another approximately 2-year a cycle that will actually end the next time Mars and the Sun get together in Capricorn. The last time this happened was several years ago in Libra, and just to say, the last time this actually happened in Scorpio was in 1991 at 14-15 degrees Scorpio. If you happen to have scorpionic degrees at those 14-15, this is something here that's connected to you deeply. Definitely, you're seeing here a 25 degree scorpionic placement. If you have anything in Scorpio, basically, but if something's really concentrated between 22 and 28, 29 degrees, this is definitely prominent in your world. It just doesn't stay by itself here because we want to point out Neptune in Pisces that is connected by harmonious 90-degree trine to this placement, and part of this ending and beginning story that is happening this weekend. And it's not separate. We're going to look at Mars, Sun, what they're doing here in Scorpio. Let me just get to it. It has to do with, in a sense, what Mars does. It likes to initiate and based on instinct and impulse. And in Scorpio, fixed sign, a water sign, a deeply intimate, sensitive, intense, fixed water sign. It's about power and the regeneration of power. And you could start to focus this in the Scorpio part of your chart. Scorpio likes to get to the essence of things. It likes to get to the heart of matters as deep as possible and to know the truth about it and to investigate the truth. And on that way to that moment, to that place, there's all types of views and focused determination involved in finding it. At times obsessive, depending how it is, which is fine. It just depends on what tools are used, how one is obsessing through Mars and Scorpio, if it's detrimental to themselves eventually, or if it's to become engrossed, to find the truth, to seek the truth with one's intimate self, with the Scorpio part of one's chart. So this investigation story is ended in a new way of investigating, a new way of getting to the essence of whatever the focal point is for Scorpio is renewing. So that's a quick version here, but this Neptune connection brings something to all this. It brings some sort of higher idea, higher inspiration, some sort of like crossing the veil feeling, something that feels almost spiritual in a sense to all this. And this inspiring vibe is brought onto this Sun Neptune, and in combination uplifts, in my mind, uplifts this regenerative story. So I also want to point out here in the chart, just because, for kicks, that while what's happening here, you see a Moon-Pluto conjunction that's happening at the moment that Mars and the Sun are completely together in the sky. You're going to hear conjunction, you're going to hear cazimi. There's different phases of when Mars is going through the Sun, and the 17-minute part of how this happens when it's going into the Sun. They call that cazimi. It's going on, it disappears into the Sun. Mars is burned down to its nothingness, basically. The Sun overpowers Mars. And basically, there's some sort of letting go, a death process, and then it is renewed by its burning down to its essence. You'll hear different ways of this talked about. You can watch plenty of other videos. I know you are. But I just want to point out that Pluto here is actually involved in all this with the moon in a supportive earth organic nature, giving it some stability. So I just want to say that as an offshoot is that a very interesting, powerful moon Pluto placement that is happening just in general when moon Pluto placements are around, which some of you know I love this stuff. I'm into it. We know it's a very powerful moment here, and it's deep, and it's very karmic actually. So sticking to basics, Neptune is trining this Mars Sun renewal conjunction in Mars, a huge powerful moment, one of my favorite moments of the year. So saying that, let us talk about what it means for each sign. I'm going to do this straight up here with you, no graphics, nothing. I'm going to talk first about my Aries risings. My Aries people who are ruled. Scorpio and Aries, they're both ruled by Mars. Very important on your end. An elevated sense here for my Aries risings people. This particular conjunction, this Sun-Mars connection, happens in the place in the chart that deals with shared resources, in a more modern sense, intimacy, the shadowy places, the more occulty types of places. Here in shared resources, a lot of times we're dealing with possible gains that can come from those places in your life, and the relationships involved, the dealing with the sharing of resources, how it could help you. And here the regenerative story is possible. And my thing for you today is, with all the rising signs, is to envision what you want this to be. If you can get to the essence of what that means for you from an intentional point of view right now, you can have a type of situation where a lot of what you would call debt, whether it's money debt, or really sometimes we think sometimes of how we look at ourselves internally, of the depths we carry within ourselves. These two places can combine, where one spiritualness in combination of how you relate to other people's resources, what you seek out to help you resource wise, can in a sense, on a spiritual sense, let go of a spiritual debt. And this is a very positive thing, and I want you to think about it in that type of way, where you combine these two types of things, you processing like a spiritualness, a spiritual debt, or it could be shame or guilt, things like that, and we rehabilitate ourselves, and we can do this, and it funnels in to the bigger, focused, determined vision of what shared resources mean in your life. Now, Taurus risings, you know I love you. You know I love you. This particular Mars, Sun, and Scorpio conjunction, this ending and renewal phase, it happens in the house of your relationships and partnerships. You already know this. The last couple years since 2021, with the eclipses that happened at Scorpio and Taurus, and all the other interesting fixed transits have triggered how you stand in relationships, who is in your life and who is not in your life anymore, and the transitions that have been happening. If they haven't happened already, they're happening now. Again, it's not intimate relationships. It's all types of relationships and what we consider partnerships. In this regenerative place, we want to envision the hope and the spirit of hope. That kind of spirit, like the hope you have with the dream that you have, the dreams that you have, the spirit, and how people, partnerships, and who's there to support those hopes and wishes and dreams. And here in your house of partnerships, to envision and to be determined about working towards and pledging towards a type of relating in your life that supports your hopes and wishes and dreams, and it's within and merged within your partnership realm. Now, Gemini risings, this particular Mars-Sun conjunction is happening in the part of the chart that deals with service and health and at times illness. And we want to take an interesting look at this as a renewal and a commitment to the regimens that you have in your life that deal with your health. And also, too, what I mean of service is how we work, what we are serving towards. And this regenerative moment in the Scorpionic story is happening in that realm. But it's interesting. There's another a possible secret or possible help from the ethers, in the sense when it deals with honor. And what I mean by this is, like, when we deal with honor a lot of times and being seen or respected, this comes from a place of like how we show up in our authority, in our power. And sometimes we learn that from other places or other people, and we honor that process. That particular process, I think, infuses this regimental part of your chart where the rebirth is happening, and we want to combine the two to give us the vision of how you will deal with your daily work and service and regiment, and in a sense how it affects your system as a whole, as your body, and how this slow, determined, focused view in renewing that area of your chart, in a sense, brings honor and respect not only to yourself, but those your mentor or a teacher or a particular type of authority figure that can, in a sense, bind and help you in this area. Now, we go to the Cancer risings. My heart always goes out to you. This particular Mars-Sun conjunction is renewal in Scorpio. Happens in such an interesting place for you, in the place in the chart that deals with the house of pleasures and creativity. Children are involved here. Children are, in a sense, a byproduct of creativity, you know, that of what happens when two people, in a sense, get together and fornicate and copulate, and that's a product. But it's deeper than that. Symbolically, we're dealing with what is creation, and how we create, and how we enter, how we are in the world of what feels good to us, what is pleasurable to us. Sex is involved here, creation, artwork, all types of creative activities. The life itself is one big creation. And here, the focus of Scorpio, the determination of Scorpio, is renewing in this part of your chart. And we want to get to the essence of this creativity. And for me, there's a bonus measure that comes here because it's actually spiritual. What spiritual insights mean to you, what the higher truth or truths mean to you, and how you explore that, and the inspiration, the connectiveness of that. It feeds into this house of pleasure for you and how you create. So this renewal, this intention you have here, an ending and setting off of a 2-year story, it happens in this combination. From my opinion, this is beautiful and amazing. It's very watery, very deep, very emotional creativity, therefore spiritual insight. My Leo risings, this particular powerful fixed transit, Mars and Scorpio and the Sun in a fixed sign, which you are a fixed sign. This is actually very, and it could be volatile for you, as in the changes. You've been seeing things happen in the last couple months, where even since the Venus retrograde that happened this whole summer, the transformation is you, a Leo rising, into the world, and the rebeautification of yourself, the reconnecting to how what you value and your sense of self-worth, right? And how the need to show that to yourself and to the world. That, in combination with this Mars and Scorpio, Sun and Scorpio conjunction, this cazimi moment, is, in a sense, connected to who you are in the past, where you come from. This comes from like roots and family and ancestry, what home means to you. This is where the renewal place is happening, a slow place, and to envision a focused, envision way of what you want this to be in your life. You get a little bit of help here from somewhere else, like it's almost like angelic. Right? And this kind of inspiration, angelic thing, actually comes from another part of your life, in combination of what I just said, what they call the fourth house. This comes from another place of possible people, situations, institutions that deal with how you would be combining your resources together, or how, in a sense, those resources could help you in that place of home, the past and memory, and the processing of it. Since this is all happening in water signs, and you're being a fire Leo, we kind of go to an internal, deeper seeking place here with the past. And we're on a mission here to understand where we come from, or where you come from, to bring that into what it is to be a Leo rising and the transformation you did this past summer with Venus, and to come from the deepest heartfelt emotional place, whatever the story is, and the process through. Virgo risings, this happens in a place that deals with, they call your neighbors, short journeys, what's immediately around you. Also how you quickly compute, which is a big thing for Virgo risings because you're ruled by Mercury. And it's all about computing and thinking and designating and pulling things apart and putting them back together, and the systems that you like to be involved in, how sharp your brain when functioning correctly, how sharp you are dealing with those systems and the reworking of them. But this happens in a place where you're dealing with possible siblings and neighbors, and this renewal, this deep scorpionic Mars renewal, is a pledge to that part of your chart, to that place. And in a sense, the inspiring connection of Neptune here that's involved in that part of your chart comes from partnerships in your life and relationships in your life. So this area of how you think and what's around your immediate surroundings and short-term travel, this is a type of place where your friends are involved. And on a deep level, an odd one actually, we're dealing with dreams and the interpretation of your dreams. So here we have the envisioning of that. Pay attention to that. If you're going to use this particular Mars-Sun conjunction in Scorpio in that part of your chart and, in a sense, go that way, also know that it does involve other people and all different types of relationships. And what do you want that to be? How do you see that in the future? And once you see that, what does it take? It takes focus and determination and faith to have that envisioning play out. Libra risings, Venus ruled. How are you? I'm being cordial with you. I'm asking how you are, and so because I know you're into that kind of stuff, the style and tact of it all. This particular Mars-Sun conjunction in Scorpio is happening in the place that you deal with money. Okay, that's a straight up version of it. Money and resources. I like to bring in the more modern way of looking at values and self-worth. We're talking in a sense that things like, money and assets, in a sense, transfers into what a livelihood is, how you feel with all that, and the connectiveness to the rest of parts of your life. I think here how you envision making money or creating resources. This is the key with the Mars and Sun and Scorpio type of rebirth regenerative story. We need to at first investigate how we have done that in the past. And we have to look at what hasn't worked and to let that go during this Mars-Sun conjunction. But we also get to look forward, and we get to start to probe in deep in that area of your chart that deals with money and finances and assets, self-worth. And we could maybe put out a story within ourselves about how we would like it to be. And not only does it stop there, we want to be pinpointed, focused. It's all about personal power here in the creation of your resources. You get some help from another place in your life here. And this has to do, interestingly enough, with how one serves. That in a sense, there's some sort of piece of divine secret or inspiration or code that's coming in to help you in how you're envisioning resources and the creation of them. And here, in a sense, service to yourself elevates this vision. A lot of times, I think Libra, because of its innate need to harmonize all types of situations and anything it's relating to, will sometimes find themselves where they're not in service to themselves. A lot of times, the fire signs are representative of how one is in service to themselves or how they take action for themselves. For instance, your opposite sign, Aries, is all about this. Me first, impulse, get it now. Libra's trying to harmonize whatever's happening in the environments first, and sometimes will not put themselves first in fear if they were to, it would disrupt the harmony. But here we want to take the inspiration and something secret from what it is service of self and the regimen behind doing that, the day by day, the little things of service to self. It doesn't mean you're still not serving the world, but in conjunction with that and what's happening in your money house, there is a vision that can be enacted. It just takes a type of probing quality, fixated quality to make it happen. Scorpio risings. You get the extra moment of silence. No one else in the rising signs on this video gets a moment of silence. But you do, because you know. You know the story your whole life. What it means to go to the extreme ends of things. What it means to really hold on to. The holding on before the end of things, whether you instigated an end or the end seemed forced upon you. What it means to hold on. How deeply rooted that is. How intimate that is. Because of a journey, wherever it has been in your life or anything and everything, that once you did get fixed on that journey, you went all the way. And when you do that, it's hard to let go of the investment of time and emotional stories that are involved. Also, there's the intrigue and the mystery. All to get to the root of one place. Everything is reflective in your outside world, I think, the last several years of what it is that you need to let go of. Many things. But what power means. The essence of that. This Mars and Sun conjunction in Scorpio, I think, is revealing what that is. And what you need to say goodbye to. No matter how hard it is. Remember, part of your story and part of your archetype is knowing what's on the other side of change. But you only know that when you have done it, or you understand and almost revel in it in the process. Some say death and rebirth. I'll say regenerative. That's the true power. That the thing you hold on to the most that has gotten you through everything. And you notice that it's not working the way it is like it used to. Can you do that? Can you even let go of that? And it could seem like everything, every single facet of your life, to take that risk and to do it is scary, can hurt possible other people, disruptions in other parts of your life. But you can't help it if you're being called. Something else. Something in the shadows and in the mystery. You get to have your reclaiming story here. But there's some goodbyes first. Use this cazimi, use this Mars-Sun conjunction in your sign, Scorpio risings. Use it. Wield it. Let go. And once you do, look to the creative well in your life. The things that you give you pleasure, that make your heart soar, and go all in there. And find those places or reclaim those places. Take it and infuse it into the Scorpio rising part of your chart, into everything, and use it to burn away and to shed the skin so you can rise again. Out of all the signs here, I'll say for Taurus risings too, I've been talking to you for several years here. Many of you have been watching here. I know if you booked readings with me the last several weeks, you're booking now. I still have it open. I still have it there. I have the real deal conversation there for you. I know it's not been easy. At the same time, I love the look in your eyes when you do dial in on what you want. It's passionate, deep, and at the core and essence of life, to live with determination and power, to get at the essence of life force, and to live in it, stand in it, and revel in it. This is your gift. This is your vision. I believe in you. I think you know exactly what you have to do. And you have my full support. Have faith in your creativity. My Sag risings. This is kind of an interesting place for this Mars-Sun conjunction in Scorpio to happen, because in one sense it happens in the place of rehabilitative places, a place of sorrow and grief, a place of recycling, I like to say. And but you know, I think here with the Scorpionic story of regenerative process and like being focused and determined in that area, and to reclaim power, a personal power in this place, it has to do with what happens in rehabilitation, in your meditation place, in your processing cave, as I like to call it. You know, here sometimes we find ourselves cast off or exiled, and it's a spiritual thing, it's an internal thing. If you feel like there's been things off kilter or just a sort of deep sorrow, we get to possibly cast this stuff off and process a lot of this with this Mars and Sun conjunction in Scorpio. And I think if we look at it as a spiritual quest, like you look at life, Sagittarius risings, on the quest, and we bring in some help, as in looking to the past and processing the past of where you come from, or your family, the stories of that, what home means to you. It's through there's some sort of piece of uplifting inspiration in combination with the rehabilitative healing place, that healing can be in your world and you can move forward in that way. So this particular conjunction is very deep, very emotional. But find that quest, that new quest in those areas of your life of internal healing, letting go, saying goodbye. The past, family, and searching there helps you out in this particular transit. My Capricorn risings, hello, my Saturnian friends who are always got it together, always got to do something, always got to worry. They're worrying. Nobody can tell you're worrying, by the way. I know you're secretly worried because generally you're constantly needing to get things done because of worry. So anyway, jokes aside, this particular intense Mars-Sun conjunction in Scorpio is in a place that deals with your hopes and wishes and dreams. And typically in this place in the chart is who has been supportive and who has not been supportive of this. And there's something gone there. There's something might have been realized here in a longer story last couple of years with this kind of stuff. And here we get to find a new way of doing this and to dream a bigger something in this area of your chart. A lot of times I think here with that, there's a change in who is aligned with you, who your patrons are, who your friends are. But I would really look to friends here. Past the patrons and alliances, I would look to friends to back you up in the story. It could be brothers or sisters. It could be just your neighbor. It could be somebody close to you, in a sense that helps you bring in something new of how you want to envision a new story to get your hopes and wishes and dreams fulfilled. You can't do it alone. And a lot of times you Capricorn risings, people, you are doing the listening. You are running the show. But sometimes you got to ask for help, right? That you're not fully in control of the situation. And here, we get to do this in a way that feels good to you. So if you're going to take this Mars and Sun and Scorpio regenerative moment, it's about group support. Letting yourself have that. Recreating a new type of support. Bring in new friends. People who will have your back to support your dreams, hopes, and wishes. You get to do that. Let go into that. Aquarius rising. What's up, freaks? My freaks is the zodiac. I do this because I got a bunch of Aquarius in my charts. I could say those things, and honestly, we secretly revel in that. So did I say revel or rebel? I say both. Anyway, this Mars Sun in Scorpio conjunction is happening in another fixed sign, and it's coming. This regenerative story and its ending and beginning has to do with how you're seen publicly, your reputation, your status, career, the stage that you stand upon, what you are the authority of. This is a very ambitious place. And for fixed signs, when we get locked into something, we can go all the way in. But first, there's something to be let go of here. This probing Mars in Scorpio with the sun, it can clash with who you are as an Aquarius rising. But you've had practice on this the last several years with many of the transits that happen in fixed signs. I think you know exactly what to do here. It's like, in one sense, this profession, how you're looked at, I think sometimes it's just changing the label. This new thing that you want to bring into that part of your life. This is the time to see it, to envision it. Not only just have hope, but like fierce process, fierce determination, a fierce dialing in on what you want that to be, how you want to regenerate the career part of your chart, what you're the authority on. And so this moment with Mars and the sun in Scorpio can relight your personal power in that area. It's a journey, but nothing a fixed sign can't handle, especially with scorpionic health at the essence of all this. Fixed signs like to get to the essence of everything, I think, but Scorpio's the best at it. And so you get to use this in your career part of your chart. But you also have a little bit of help. And it's a vision and inspiration that comes from your sense of self-worth, or how you create resources in your life. What that means to you. This funnels into your career part of your chart. It's there to support the possible achievements, the achievements that you're envisioning. Good luck to you. The last sign, as always, on a lot of these videos is you, Pisces rising. You all are permeating everything and becoming one thing and becoming another at the next. Identifying with this, identifying with that. Your Jupiter ruled, you can't help but dream. Can't help but you're really good at faith and hope and trust in the universe that guide you. Saturn being in your world here this year, in the next 2 years, are definitely going to put you on point of having to contain all that and to really crystallize those visions. That's a little bonus for you. But this Sun-Mars conjunction in Scorpio, this comes from a place, and in the place of your chart that deals with something very familiar to you, a spiritual quest. What is of most meaning to you? The philosophical things in life. When we go seek things out, we seek different words and languages, different parts of our world, internal and externally. And we have those experiences, and we incorporate them into our world, into our lives, into our truth. That is where this Sun, Mars, and Scorpio cazimi conjunction is happening. Something needs to be let go of from in this area, but something can be brought in and set off a story. I'll use story, a novella, a drama that you can identify with, that you can envision, which you're so good at. Most importantly, this is about your health and vitality. This is about your devotion to yourself, to your vitality, to your life force. It's about the devotion to your truth. No question you can do this. Luckily, the next couple of years, not only do you have this Mars-Scorpio regeneration moment happen where you're going to envision and then become focused on what the highest truth means to you. You got Saturn in the first to help corral all this together. And if you use that in combination with Neptune in Pisces here, and Saturn in Pisces and Scorpio, we're dealing with foundational, emotional, core things that have nothing to do with words, but have to do with the essence, the all-in-oneness of life, the connection to the divine, and how it flows through you. And with focus and a container, you can complete your quest. So, For those who got to the end of this, that is my version of Sun, Mars, and Scorpio. I try to keep it simple. There's plenty of other videos out there and stuff about the synodic cycle of Mars and all that. You can go check it out. I just want it to be clear and to the point for each rising sign, because I think this is a clear to the point moment. In the end, we're warriors. Sometimes warriors need to take a rest. Sometimes we're warriors all the time. Some of us don't know how to be. In the end, Mars shows us how to be the warrior in our life. So you need sword and shield, or you need the tools to get the job done. In the end, this is about personal power. Scorpio shows us how to do this from a deep internal place to seeking, to knowing the core and how to achieve that power or to reclaim that power. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I think there's a lot of negative connotations about what power is and so on and so forth. And I get it because of the abuses of power in our history. We just need to look at the last couple of years, we could see that. But one amazing thing about life is when we see our power or the opportunity to stand in our power, and it comes from the place of heart, the essence of who we are. We're already doing a Scorpion archetype. And coming from that place and then fulfilling it externally, you still have to do the work. But out of anything, Mars and Scorpio, once dialed in, can get through anything, even death, into rebirth. Thanks for watching the video. If you made it this far, as the first time here, my name is Nicolas Polymenakos, aka Sparkles of Gold, aka Warrior. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Go to my website. I got special on Scorpio readings right now. Watch my other videos. Until next time.